Good evening. Welcome to this session on breath, a portal to new dimensions. Love and gratitude and warm welcome to all of you who have joined the session. Love and gratitude to our masters, Dr. Newton Kondavati, Dr. Lakshmi, and all our beautiful masters in QLU. Love and gratitude to all our enlightened masters and Osho and Dr. Shiva, through whom we get these beautiful teachings of today. I take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy Diwali, and may this festival of lights, bring in love, joy, happiness, celebration, and enlightenment to you and your dear ones. Diwali is such a beautiful festival, and according to me, it will be one of those festivals which will always be celebrated all over the world, because it is to do with victory of light over darkness, and it is to do with celebration of who we are. It is to do with the celebration of the Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram that we are. I'll start the day's session with a very beautiful quote from Kabir. His original quote was, "जब मैं था तब हरि नहीं, जब हरि है मैं नहीं, सब अंधियारा मिट गया, जब दीपक देखिया मैं." What he says is, when I was, then the divine was not. And when the divine is, I am not. All the darkness vanished when I saw the light within. Very beautiful quote. He's referring here to the darkness, to the mind, to the ego. And when he realizes that, he sees that we are all one. We are all the same consciousness. Consciousness unites. And on the same, on very similar lines, we have another beautiful quote by Lord Buddha, who said, "Appo Deepo Bhava." He said, "Be a lamp unto yourself." These were his last words. After attaining to self-realization, after teaching, after enlightening so many souls, this was the last word he said, last line: "Be a lamp unto yourself." Buddha was born some 2,500 years ago. Kabir was more recent, more in the 15th century. And both are indicating towards the same truth. First truth is, look within. Look within. There is a lamp. And be that lamp that you are. Both are talking of light, and when light is there, we need to have darkness in the background. Light is needed to dispel darkness. Light is needed to see where we are, where we stand. And light is needed to walk our own path. And real darkness is being identified with the mind and being ruled by our desires, our attachments, our anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, and the ego. It's something like living in a dark room, moving here and there, not knowing where to go, bumping into this chair, bumping into that table, hurting our head against the wall, and then suffer. We switch on a light and then we can see the room. Oh, this is a room and it's not so bad. It's actually quite good. There are some chairs to sit on. There is a sofa set. There is a dining table. There is a window. There is some dirt and dust which needs to be thrown out. So once there is the light, you know what to do. You know where you stand. You know what to do and how to move on. And this is the light of awareness. This is the light of love. With love and awareness, we can chalk our own path, walk our own path, and know where we are. Mind. Both Kabir and Buddha, when they talk of darkness vanishing from their lives, they're talking of the darkness of the mind. The mind is a beautiful servant, but a dangerous master. Mind is a gift of society, of our upbringings, of our conditionings. When we arrived on day one through our mother's womb, we didn't come with a mind. We arrived as pure consciousness. We arrived as 100% feeling beings. And consciousness is universal. We don't say he has Hindu consciousness, there is a Muslim consciousness. We don't say there is a Christian consciousness or a communist consciousness. Consciousness is same. Consciousness is the source and consciousness is what we are. But as we grow in life, from the cradle to the grave, our mind develops in those few years, depending on our upbringing, depending on our conditioning, depending on our culture, country, religion, we develop that mind. And it's very interesting. When a child is born, the child is 100% feeling oriented. It takes a little while to learn how to talk. It communicates, mostly the child communicates through feelings. And when the child learns to talk, the child will always refer to her name or his name, like Rama or Krishna This is Krishna. This is Krishna's doll. This is Rama's toy. Or this is, whatever the name is, John's bat. And when you take that doll or toy away from the child suffers. Over a period of time, the child learns to say, my doll. And when you take the doll away, when you take the toy away from the child feels you are taking the child's self. So he says, it's my doll, it's my toy. And this my, and we laugh. But this very my becomes my parents, my home, my school, my college, my country, my religion, my. And there's no end to that my. Me, mine, I. And when we are strongly attached to this me, to this mine, to this I, this leads us to suffering. Which is why Lord Buddha said, he talked of four noble truths. After years of meditation, after enlightenment, he said, life, there is suffering in life. Life is suffering. Jivan mein dukh hai. There is a reason for suffering. Suffering can be stopped. And lastly, suffering can be transcended by following the Eightfold Path. This was his teaching, and it is still valid. And how to transcend this mind? So in the last class which I took, I talked of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Wherein Parvati, Devi, is asking Lord Shiva, in a moment of deep intimacy, in a moment of love, dear Shiva, she's asking several questions to which Shiva replies. So we'll quickly go through that. One minute. Yeah. Parvati is asking, Devi is asking Shiva in a language of love, what is your reality? She's asking questions. What is this wonderful universe? What constitutes seed? Who centers the universal being? She's asking Lord Shiva, who are you? She's in deep love with him. She's asking, what is your reality? What is your real reality? In deep love, after some time, the form vanishes. You are in touch with that quality of love. She's wanting to know what is your real reality. And she goes on asking questions. What is this life beyond form, pervading forms? How may we enter it fully above space, time, names, and descriptions? Let my doubts be clear. Again, the last sentence is not a question, it's more of a statement saying that this mind, there are doubts. Clear my doubts. Same, Buddha, Kabir, all our masters, they have come to only one conclusion, that behind our suffering is the mind. Behind our sufferings is a mind which is controlling us and our lives. Devi is asking it differently. She's asking, Give me answers to who are you? Give me answers to what is this wonderful universe which is full of Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram. How can we enter that state? She's asking. How can we enter that state of formlessness, which is beyond time, beyond space, beyond name, beyond description, beyond all forms? Let my doubts be clear. Because we are all born with a form, and as we go through life, we face suffering through this form. So there is something deeper than that. Shiva gives answers in his own typical style. He doesn't give a direct answer that this is who I am, this is what it is. He gives 112 meditation techniques. And this meditation technique is from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. And his attitude towards Devi and Parvati is you do this technique and find the answer for yourself. So Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the meaning of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra is Vigyan is real knowing, consciousness. Bhairav is somebody who has gone beyond consciousness. Shiva, Lord Shiva is Bhairava, Parvati is Bhairavi, and Tantra is technique. So this is a science. Shiva gives a technique on breath. What he says, this is actually the third technique of breath, watching the breath. Shiva says, whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, at this instant, touch the energy-less and energy-filled center. Very cryptic answer. So let's try to understand, to decipher what Lord Shiva is guiding us to do. What Shiva is saying is, when we breathe in, as the breath goes in, and there is a point when it stops, and there is a turn, and the breath goes out. After it goes out, there is a turn, and the breath comes in. So there is a point between in-breath and out-breath where they fuse. At this point, at this instant, touch that center, you see. He's calling it energy-less, energy-filled center. It's an explanation, it's an expression, we'll come to that. He's saying, at this moment, be aware. That's it. Let's understand. We, as beings, human beings, are divided into the center and the periphery. Our body, we know. Our body is the periphery. We know. We can touch it, we can feel it. Our center, we do not know. So this Tantra technique helps us to know our center. When we breathe in, the moving in, breath moving in is dynamic. When we breathe out, the breath moving out is dynamic. But when breath is still and silent, you are near your center. And this is happening all the time. We are just not aware of it. Let's look at how a child breathes. If you look at a child breathing while sleeping, while the child is sleeping, you'll find that the child is breathing through the abdomen, belly breathing. Breath is going in. As breath goes in, the abdomen goes up. As breath goes out, the abdomen goes down. So it's actually breathing straight from the abdomen, not from the chest. It's not a shallow breathing, it's a deep breathing. Most of us breathe shallow. We'll breathe from the chest, not from our abdomen. And because the child is breathing from the abdomen, the child is always present in the here and now. The child is never bothered about the past or the future. The child is not afraid to be authentic and total in every act. The child is happy, is joyful. If the child is angry, the child is angry. There's no hypocrisy to it. The child is sad, again, tears will flow. You will create tantrums. No hypocrisy. The child is authentic. Other aspect is the child is overflowing with energy. If you are there with children, if you are managing children, you will be tired. And the child is pure love at play. Pure love at play. And no wonder Jesus has said, when somebody asked him, who can enter your kingdom of heaven? He replied, only a child can enter the kingdom of heaven. So why? What he really means is a child with these qualities, to be here and now, being here and now, not brooding over the past or worrying about the future, just here and now. Life is happening here and now. In that here and now, with his belly breathing, he is overflowing with energy. Because Jesus says, you have to have that childlike quality of innocence and love and spontaneity to enter the dimension of spaciousness. This kingdom of heaven is not anywhere else. This very dimension is within us. Our own breath is actually a doorway to this beautiful dimension of spaciousness, this beautiful dimension of heaven that is inside us. Because the child breathes through the abdomen and the child is near the center or at the center, the child is total. Total. You'll never find a child fragmentary, partial. We are partial. We are fragmentary because we breathe shallow. Because of shallow breathing, we are off center and not total most of the time. I say most of the time because there are times when we are total. For example, you're doing something that you really enjoy. You enjoy the moment. You enjoy what you're doing. It's an aha moment for you. Then you have touched your center. When you're in your center, you will be total. Like you're singing or you're dancing, which you really enjoy doing. Or you're just making a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or cooking. You are doing it because you love doing it, you enjoy doing it, or even simply sipping the cup of tea or watching a sunset. Or, it happens more in a vacation. You get this aha moment. What really happens? Without your knowing, you think it's the hill station which has given you that happiness. No. At that very moment, it's a different setting, different surrounding. You would have breathed in and you would have touched your center. And that gave you an aha moment. Oh, wow, you say. Oh, such a beautiful sunset, such a lovely scenery. And the truth is, we are afraid to be total, thanks to the mind and our conditioning. Our mind comes in the way. Our mind is a barrier to be our total self. And if you look at many of these happy, laughing Buddhas, you'll always find them to be having a huge punch. Why? They are breathing. It's an abdominal breathing. You ask them where are they, they'll point to their belly. They'll not point to their head. If I ask you where are you, you're more likely to point to your head. Whereas the child or a laughing Buddha or a happy Buddha, I point to his belly. That's where he is. Now, what does the abdominal breathing or the belly breathing really do? When we breathe in deep, or when the child breathes in deep, it is actually massaging or activating our lower three chakras. The Manipur chakra, which is the navel center, just above the navel center, which gives us our sense of self-esteem. Just lower to the Manipur chakra is our Swadhisthana chakra, which is the seat of our creativity. It's also the seat of our sexuality and sensuality. And lastly, the Muladhara, which is the seat of our survival. Now, fear blocks the Muladhara chakra. When there is fear, it will block the Muladhara chakra. So when the child is breathing deep right up to the abdomen, there is no fear in the child. That's a beauty. When fear is not there, you are total. You are not afraid to express yourself, to do what you want to do, say what you do, whatever you want to say. It might be right, wrong, there is a different story. The second chakra is the Swadhisthana chakra, which is the seat of our sexuality and sensuality. And guilt blocks that. A feeling of guilt, a sense of guilt, which has been imposed on you, impregnated on you somewhere in childhood, to block that. And lastly, the Manipura chakra, shame, limiting self-beliefs, block our Manipura chakra. When we breathe deep, all these chakras remain activated. And that's exactly, as we grow through life, this is exactly what happens. The child is growing. When the child first touches the sex center, we say, stop, don't touch. And the child, suddenly, the child is taken aback. Child stops. What really stops? The breathing becomes shallow. So when we breathe in deeply, we are actually touching our centers. We are touching our own self, all parts of the body. And when a caretaker, a parent, or a guardian says, don't, stop, don't do that, child stops. Child is suddenly scared. The child is vulnerable. The child doesn't know anything. And among all the species in this world, the most vulnerable species is the human child. The human child needs our nurturing of love, care, understanding. And whatever we say at that formative years becomes the blueprint of the mind for the child. So all these feelings of fear, guilt, shame, lack of esteem, these are actually childhood imprints that we actually carry right through our adult life. And somewhere, and that's how it's unfortunate that the child learns wrongly that the lower part of the body is just not lower in value, just not lower physically, but also lower in value. There's something wrong there. So there is some guilt associated with that. And why? Because the parents said, stop, dirty fellow. Or they might have been shamed. You're good for nothing. You'll come to nothing. So it carries that burden of grief. And where does that go? Where does that hurt feelings go? It goes into his psyche. And these and many, many psychic impressions are subjected to in childhood, forms the making of the mind. And then we develop different minds. Then you can have a Hindu mind, you can have a Muslim mind, you can have a communist mind, you can have a Christian mind, you can have a capitalist mind, a business mind. You can have million minds, or billions of people, you can have billion minds. And when we identify ourselves to this mind, there is suffering in life. This is the real suffering. This is the real darkness. We identify to these psychic impressions, which has been given to us by our parents, by our guardians, by our society. Because they also didn't know any better. They learned it from their parents, from their grandparents. And that's how we have evolved. So many of the suppressed feelings are there within us, and that manifests in the way we are. We will develop those defense mechanisms as a child to be perfect in whatever we do, to be a people pleaser, to be masochistic or to be rebellious. And we continue to live that way for the rest of our life. This is not who we are. And this is what Kabir is referring to, the darkness of the mind. Jesus has put it very positively, only a child can enter the kingdom of heaven. He's taking all the positive qualities of spontaneity, the positive quality of being here and now, the positive quality of being so total, so authentic, the positive quality of being playful, of being loving. This is genuine and this is beautiful. There's no mind here. It is pure consciousness, you can say. But unfortunately, the child has to grow in a family, in a society, in a commune, in a community. And that's where the mind comes in. And that's where also our suffering comes in. There is also a karmic imprint to it, because we choose the life that we lead. But somewhere, if we take responsibility for this suffering, we can come out of it. We can disidentify ourselves with the mind, which is pretending to be the real you. The mind is not you. You are not the mind. You have a mind. You live in a body. You are much deeper than the mind, much deeper than the body, much deeper than the feelings. And that's where Shiva says, now if we go back to the technique of Shiva, that he says, whenever, he says, he's giving a very simple technique. Whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, at that instant, touch the energy-less and energy-filled center. Now, one more aspect which we can understand it a little deeper is the body needs food and water and fluids to survive. Food is fuel for body needs. If you stop the food and water, the body can survive for maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, because there are reserves of fuel energy inside us. Now, when we breathe in, we are also breathing in vitality. We are breathing in oxygen. We are breathing pran. That's why it's called pranayam in yoga. Pranayam. We are absorbing that vitality into our body, into our system. But our center is actually not getting this energy. It is the body which is getting the fuel. It is body which is getting the vitality. Our energy, which Shiva calls energy less or energy filled, that center is actually connected to the cosmic source or the cosmic energy. There are many moments in our lives where you have felt so total. Sometimes it could have been moments of celebration. Sometimes you could have overcome your fear by just being in touch with that center. When you are at that center, you connect to that cosmic energy, to that cosmic source, which is prevalent everywhere, which is surrounding all over the place. I just want to share with you a story long time back. It happened in my life. Myself and my wife, we had gone to the ashram to attend a program, to attend a meditation program. So that time we left our daughter at home. She was there. She was old. She was working in a company, but this was the first time we were leaving her and going out for about a week or something. And she was around 20. She was fine. She had her friends and she was nice girl. We had gone to Delhi and we live in Hyderabad. And suddenly in the late night, we get a call. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. There's somebody, some shadow. And then my wife was scared. I said, let me talk to her. So I said, Priyanka, what's going on? Papa, I'm very scared. I don't know what's happening. There is some shadow. Some noise is there. I said, okay, just listen to me. And I asked her to close her eyes and asked her to take some deep breath. breaths. I said, you take a deep breath. Just follow my instruction. I told her to breathe deep. I told her to watch her breath, entire flow of breath, watch the gap, and asked her to see the breath go out. I just gave her this simple instruction for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then I felt that she was feeling okay. I just felt it. Then I asked her, are you feeling okay? Yes. She said, yes. I said, you get up. She got up. It was late night. They'd switch on the light. They'd go to the next room. We were living in the 4th floor. Switch on the light. She switched on the light. They'd go to the veranda. Is there anyone? And she went. She did all that. There was no, she was not afraid. Then suddenly she said, oh, I know. The fridge was making a noise. There was that shadow there. Appa, I'm fine. I said, okay. Go back to the room. Freshen up. Keep one light burning if you want to. And anytime you call me back. And she didn't call me. She had a nice sleep. And the next whole week, she stayed alone. She didn't call any of her friends. By doing that deep breathing, she had actually touched her center. And it was a real life experience, a beautiful experience. And her fear was gone. Her anxiety was gone. She had touched to that center. And that center helped her to be. So, in case of stress, in case of fear, in case of anxiety, you say you do deep breathing. Why? You take that deep breathing, as children do, we touch upon that center. We touch all our lower 3 centers. The Muladhara, the fear blocks. So the moment you touch that center, fear is dissolved. The moment you touch your Swadhisthana, you're creative. You're ready to enjoy life. You're ready to celebrate life. The moment it touches the Manipura chakra, you're ready with full esteem. I am. You see? So this is the deeper I. This is not the surface I. And that's what Shiva is calling that the energy-less or energy-filled center. Because it is connected to this cosmic energy. It is connected to this cosmic universe. So the moment we feel the center from where breath goes out or in, that point, he says, be aware. At that point, that's the portal to the new dimension of you. That's the portal to enlightenment. And as we do this, which is, Vipassana is followed everywhere, or Anapanasati Yoga is followed everywhere, where we watch the breath. And how we watch the breath, we just be with the breath. And the breath flows in, and this is the technique. When the breath flows in, you just go with the breath, be with the breath. Do not run ahead or do not follow. Just be with the breath as if you are holding breath's hand, like a child. Just be, and then you will be in that gap. Then you will be in that fusion point between in and out and in. At that point is a point of stillness. That point is a point of silence. That point is the point of no mind. And as you can feel that, you can touch that, you can transcend the mind. You have entered a beautiful dimension of who you are. You are that who. You are that Satyam. You are that Shiva. You are that Sundaram. Satyam is truth. Shiva means auspiciousness. What is auspicious? Love, joy, awareness, celebration. That is auspicious. And Sundaram, it is beautiful. So we know that. We all know that. Because once upon a time we were a child. We did not come as an adult. We came through our childhood, from our mother's womb. We were so beautiful, so loving, so playful, so cheerful. We were that bundle of joy. And we can reclaim that consciousness. It's not that we have to attain something. No, we are already that. We came with that. We are that. But we have forgotten that. We have forgotten that language. We have forgotten that technique. We were doing that technique. We were following that technique. We were there. And how we forgot? Mind, society, conditioning, upbringing, all the psychic impressions. We don't have to fight with all these people. Moment we understand, the people who hurt us, we can say, yeah, I was hurt, but I can understand that you did it out of your ignorance. You did it out of your unconsciousness. You did it without knowing. So this realization comes in. And when that realization comes in, you can actually forgive that person. You will not only forgive that person, you will forgive yourself also. For carrying this baggage of negative, denser energies for such a long period of time. Now, the moment you realize it, you don't have to drop it, it drops on its own. So these are the darkness in our lives. And darkness cannot be suppressed. The darkness within has to be acknowledged. The darkness within has to be accepted. And the moment we do that, we are actually bringing that light of awareness, of love, of joy, of who we are, of consciousness, of that Satyam and Shivam and Sundaram. Because that's what we are. And I shared one negative example. There are many, many positive examples too. You can share in your own life. Blissful moments, beautiful moments. And that moment you would have been near your center. It was this total joy. See a beautiful sunset. You say, oh, wow. You have touched your center. But since there has been so much of suffering, repeated sufferings, different kinds of sufferings, we can release that one by one. It just goes. So this is it for today. And there are any questions I can answer, or looks like there are no questions as such. We can do a meditation. This will be a guided meditation by our beloved master, Dr. Newton. We can hear his master's, we can hear our master's voice, his master's voice. So let us go into this meditation of Anapanasati Yoga. And the technique is just be with the breath. When the breath is going in, go with it. Do not go behind, do not go ahead. So when you are with it, holding hands with breath, you are in the here and now. And all these techniques are also to bring us to the here and now. When we are in the here and now, we drop to our center. That's one of the beauties. That is one of these beauties of these techniques. It is so simple. But remember, It may not be that simple because the mind will come from somewhere. The mind will come from the back door. The mind will come from the side door. Beware. So just being watchful. Breath is going in, just go with the breath. Since breath is going in, go with the breath. There's a small gap. Just watch the gap. Then breath goes out, goes out. You are with the breath, you are with the breath. Breath goes out. There's a small gap. And breath comes in again. So keep doing this, and be aware at that turning points, at that point of fusion. Be aware, be watchful, be alert. That's the portal to the new dimension of you. So thank you. Thank you. I have received a lot of nice comments. Thank you, dear sir. Content coverage, very nice. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Um, just be totally relaxed. And I will ask Harika to play the meditation.
Meditation is silencing the incessant chatter of the restless mind. The monkey mind, which is jumping around all the time, need to be emptied. For that, we begin with the breath. The mind has to be with the breath. That is the bottom line. If the mind is not with the breath, it does not become empty. The mind has to become uncluttered, rather empty. In the day-to-day life, for every person, meditation is very, very essential. The benefits of meditation are manifold. Most physical afflictions, that is almost over 99%, are psychosomatic in nature. That is born in mind, later manifested in the physical body. They arise because of mental worries, and all mental worries are because of a certain lack of clarity in thinking and consequent intellectual immaturity. This intellectual immaturity is due to a lack of basic spiritual wisdom. And spiritual wisdom is obtained only through meditation. By having plenty of meditational experiences and deeper insights about one's own true nature, one can acquire all the spiritual wisdom. Our practical meditational spiritual wisdom is further strengthened by studying all the existing literature in the field of spiritual science, wherein the experiences of meditation are astral travelers, etc., are given in greater detail. In short, most physical afflictions are because of mental worries. All mental worries are because of intellectual immaturity. All intellectual immaturity is primarily because of lack of spiritual knowledge. A spiritually illumined person knows all the causes and thus all the corresponding effects, and has no worries. Therefore, he or she becomes totally free of all physical afflictions in due course. In meditation, one's energy is increased through inflow of energy from cosmic energy sources. New information about alternate realities is obtained, and consequently, there is a constant expansion of consciousness and energy quotient. Let us now begin the practice of meditation. Before actually going into this meditation, let me acquaint you with some essential things that you are recommended to look into in order to gain maximum advantage from this. This meditation is strictly not to be done while you are driving your car. Select a time of the day when you are certain that you will be left undisturbed for the entire duration of this meditation. Wear clothing that is loose, comfortable, and free flowing, allowing the body to be able to relax completely without any constraints. Select a place and a posture that allows you to completely relax while at the same time keeps you alert enough to be able to stay with the process with complete focus till the end. Let us now begin this meditation. Close your eyes. Relax your entire body. Take all the time you need to get comfortable. Stretch and relax. Make sure your spine and neck are not held stiffly. Just comfort the beginning of calm. There is no hurry now. There is nothing else to do or think about. Just relax. In this very wonderful, comfortable posture, joining the two hands, interlocking the fingers, with your eyes closed. It's a journey into your own inner self. Notice your breath. If your breath is long and deep, Let it be long and deep. If your breath is short and shallow, let it be short and shallow. Meditation is observation of the breath. Meditation is awareness of the breath. Completely relax the whole body and continue to focus on the in breath and out breath. If the mind is wandering here and there, become aware of this wandering mind, bringing back the mind to this moment, now and here, bringing back the mind to the in breath and out breath. Let your breath sink in and out. Your breath is a rhythm of calm. Follow your breath. Be still. Be your breath. Use your mind to follow your breath in, out, in, out. That is all. Be your breath. Be still. As I pause for a few moments, allow yourself to go into deep and deep meditative states where the mind becomes empty and silent. Meditation is the process of removing all the dust collected over the mind. Meditation is alertness, awareness of your breath. Meditation is no mind state, no thought state. Meditation is an inner journey into your own essence. Meditation is witnessing state of consciousness where you are observing, watching, witnessing, witnessing the body. You know that you are more than the body. Witnessing the mind, know that you are more than the mind. Witnessing the emotions, feelings, you know that you are more than your emotions and feelings. Meditation is non-doing. Meditation is witnessing, watching, observing. You are the observer who is observing the body, the mind, the emotions. Meditation is utter silence within. A 0 point. When you become nobody, when you become nothing, transcending the body and the mind, transcending time and space. Meditation is a journey beyond. Noticing, witnessing whatever that is happening within you. Meditation is to live in this moment, being here and now, dropping the past, dropping the future, living in this moment with all the awareness. Meditation is to realize the true self, the real identity, as the mind becomes like an empty pond, a bamboo flute, journeying into the very core of your being. Meditation is going into the gaps, the silent spaces in between your thoughts. Meditation is entering into that vast spaciousness. Meditation is stillness of the mind. Let the thoughts come and go like passing clouds in the sky. Being mindful of every breath, settling down into the deep inner stillness. Meditation is total relaxation at all levels of your being. Following your every breath, being with your every breath, where you are completely aligned with your every breath. Being totally still, being an observer of this deep inner silence, and being an observer of whatever that unfolding inner experience. Go on observing the silence observing the breath. Go on observing the unfolding inner experience. The body is the temple. Our breath is our guide. Our soul is our God consciousness, the divine being. Noticing, witnessing whatever is happening in this zero state of mind. Meditation is embracing the silence within. Meditation is the journey towards self-realization. Meditation is self-remembrance. Meditation is the self-awakening. Beyond time, beyond space, beyond body, beyond the mind. A deep inner experience of transcendence. Meditation is a deep inner experience of absorption of all the cosmic energies. Just be. Like an empty bowl. Completely silent. Meditation is a deep experience of your own self, a deep experience of your own being. Meditation is to realize that you are the divine essence. Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. Meditation is an uncluttered mind which is empty, which is silent. Mindfulness of breathing. Going deep into the silent spaces. Few more moments of being with this inner space of silence, being with the inner experience. Just be. Whenever now you are ready, with all this beautiful cosmic energy, with all the tranquil mind and peaceful mind, I'd like you to start coming back into this alert, awake state, feeling physically fit, mentally perfectly agile, intellectually razor sharp, emotionally full of calmness, friendship, and joy, existentially full of positivity, creativity, and spontaneity. Finally, spiritually illumined. Last 1 minute. Just being nurtured, nourished by all the cosmic energies. Very deep, deep relaxation. Take your own time now. Whenever you are ready, can slowly, slowly return back. By placing your hands on your eyes, you can slowly, slowly open your eyes, feeling fresh, rejuvenated, very deeply relaxed.
Thank you very much for coming and attending the session. Love and gratitude to all of you. Love and gratitude to all our masters, Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi, all the beautiful masters of Kyoto, Osho, Dr. Shiva, Lord Shiva, and all the beautiful masters who have shown us the way and are showing the way. Thank you. Good day.